is Arika Stitches once again. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to make a jumpsuit, a kimono jumpsuit. Basically, this lower part of the jumpsuit, we're just going to be cutting it like regular pants, okay? And my half length for this jumpsuit is 17.5. Normally, the half length of the person is around 16 inches, but because it's a jumpsuit, you can add from 1.5 to 2 inches. Okay, in this case, I'll be adding just 1.5 inches to the normal half length of my client. So I have 17.5 as my half length. So that will be my starting line. Okay, instead of using 17.5, because I need a half inch to join the upper part to the lower part, so I'll be coming down by half an inch. So I'm starting from 17 inches. Then the full length of my client is 61 inches. Okay, so this is 60, and I had extra 1 inches allowance to it. All right, then I'm going to be adding 2 inches for seam allowance. Okay, for seam allowance, 2 inches for seam allowance. So that is it. Needing just 2 lines on 3 lines basically, or let's say 4. This is starting point. Like I said, we're starting from the half length. We need the crotch line, then we need the lap line, then we need the ending line, which is where it's going to end. Okay, so how do we get the crotch line? All right, you just divide the hip line by 4. Like I said, the hip line of my client is 41 inches. 41 inches. That's divided by 4. That's around 10.25. So I added half an inch to the allowance for ease. Okay, so that makes it 11.2. You can see that's 11.2 there. All right, so the next thing is the lap. We are going just going to measure 3 inches below the lap, the crotch line, so we have the lap, and so then get started. Right now the waistline of my client is 31 inches. All right, so I'm just going to be measuring. I'm measuring from here. All right, I'll be measuring from here. Nevertheless, before I start my measurement, I'll first take out the hip line, because the hip line will serve as the hip measurement will serve as my starting line for the waistline as well. So like I told you that the hip I'm working with is 10.25 rather. I'm going to be adding half an inch allowance for ease. All right, so I'm going to mark the same thing upwards like this. This is 11.2. I'm going to mark the same thing upwards like this. Now, to make the trouser sit well, I'm going to be coming in by 0.7 inches like this. So I'm going to be making a straight line from here like this. Hope you can see my line. I'm sorry, I have a white chalk here, but I think it should follow what I'm doing. Okay, so right now I'm just going to be marking the crotch extension. The crotch extension is 2.5. How do I know it's 2.5? 2.5, 2.7. Okay, now my hip line is 10.25. I'm just going to be folding over by 4. All right, I fold over by 4, 10.25 like this. I fold again. All right, but you see that's around 2.5. So I'll just put in 2.6. I'll put in 2.6 here. So that's my crotch extension. I will just be coming out by 1 inch here to draw my cuff. All right, I'll go upwards like this by 1 inch as well. So I'll be drawing my crotch. So after that, I'm just going to be coming down by 3 inches. Like I said, that's my lap extension. So coming down by 3 inches. Trim this thing down. Our lap is 25 inches. All right, so 25 inches from here. So when we divide 25 inches into 2, we have 12.5. So we're not just going to be putting that 12.5 right here. We're going to be checking what we have here. So in this case we're having 13.7. So we dividing that 13.7 into 2. That becomes our middle line. So we're having 6.8 inches. All right, let me do that again for you to see well. So 13.7 here. When I divide that by 2, I have 6.8. 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark 6.8 inches down. Like we said, we want the trouser to sit exactly perfectly well. All right, so that's why we're marking that. Now, so the next thing we're going to be marking on this last line is to mark that 12.5 that I said. So 12.5 over 2, that's 6.2 inches. All right, so I'm going to mark 6.2 inches on the right, 6.2 inches on the left. So I'm just going to be connecting like this. All right, like I said, I didn't tell you earlier that it's a palazzo jumpsuit. It's a palazzo jumpsuit. Even though it's a kimono on the upper part of the body, it's also palazzo on the lower part of the body. Alright, so next thing I'm going to be doing is to just connect it down. Since it's palazzo, I'll connect it just straight down like this, without any other reduction. That's why I said I just need 2 lines. Okay, so I'll just be connecting that and I'll show you. So basically this is it. I just connect it down to the hemline. I connect it down to the hemline. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to get out get her waistline. In this case our waistline is 31 inches. So 31 inches divided by 4. 31 inches divided by 4 right now is 7.6 inches. So starting from here, I'm going to be marking my 7.6 inches right from here. Alright, so then the allowance, every other sewing allowance, we are going to be keeping it and keeping it for the back allowance or the back panel of this pants. So the trouser is going to be having that, so that's 1 inch. So I'm just going to be connecting that like this. So then I will cut and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. Alright, so on this front part I'm going to be coming down by half an inch just to make it sit very well. Alright, but I won't be cutting it now until I'm done with the back piece of this pants. Alright, so I'll be showing you how to cut I'll bring the other part of the fabric and place this on the fabric so that we can cut the back part of the fabric. So I've actually drawn out the marks for the back pattern on this table right now. This is what we're going to be doing. This is the front pattern I've placed conveniently on this fabric to cut out my back pattern. So this is what I will be doing. For all of the sides, I'll be adding 2 inches for each of the sides. So I had 2 inches here, 2 inches there. You can see 2 inches all the way down. Now the only difference I'm going to be doing right now is to make sure that this crotch extension for the back is actually different from the front. So from here, I'm going to be marking my 10.5 that I have, 10.2 rather. I'll divide it into 2, it gives me 5.5, which is starting here. Alright, so my 5.5, I'm going to go ahead and mark my hip line again from here. My hip line is 10.5, you can see. So that is why I have this. I don't know if you are seeing it well. That's why I have this to be, this is going to be my crotch extension for the back. So remember that I added 2 all the way down. So I'm just going to do it slant way, okay? Slant way. So that's going to be my extension for the back. You can see this way. It's going to come down like half inch away from the front, okay? So that's where I'm going to be cutting. Then all the way down, I added 2 inches all the way down. Now on this side, because I want the side allowance to be at least to be having an allowance of 1 inch instead of half an inch. Now how do I come about these 2 inches that I added to it? I didn't add any allowance to the front pattern. So the 2 inches here is half and half to join the crotch line for this, half and half to join the side allowance. Now I said I want 1 inch allowance on the side, so I added my 1 inch here on this side to have 1 inch allowance on the side joining. So I'll be joining the crotch line area by half inch, for the side area I'll be joining by 1 inch. Now for the upper part of the dress, I'm going to be I'll be coming up by 1.5 inches. All right, so remember that I said 2 inches here, 2 inches here for everything. And when I come out by 1.5 inches, I'll just make sure I slant it all the way from here down to that side. So that marks the end of back pattern. So I'm going to cut and come back to show you what it looks like. All right, so right now we're going to be cutting the kimono part of the jumpsuit. Like I said, that the upper part is a kimono. Now this is what we're going to be doing. You can see that I folded it into 4. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I left 2.5 inches for the button. Okay, the button, you can see I left 2.5 inches for the button. That's where I'm going to fold for the button. When I'm sewing, you understand what I mean by 2.5 inches I left for the button. Okay, so I can decide to cut off this area so that we will not get confused while I show us what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now next is to measure. I already marked my starting line here. All right, that's my starting line. So I'm just going to measure down 18.5 inches. Like I told you, the half length is 17.5 inches. So I'm going to measure 18.5 inches for the half length. Okay, you can see 18.5 here. So 18.5 here too. All right, so we can see that already. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is to first of all mark my shoulder. So from here I'm going to just mark my shoulder measurements. Shoulder measurement that I have here is 7.5. Like I said, it's a kimono dress. It's cut together with sleeve. I think 4 inches or 3.5 will just do for me. So this is where I have my 4 inches. Okay, so what I'm just going to be doing on this 4 inches mark, I'll just be coming down by 2 inches and I'll just slant. I'll slant for my, this is 2.5 inches, okay, of the neckline from here to here. I'll just slant from there. So right now we're going to be cutting the upper part of the jumpsuit. Like we know earlier that this upper part is actually a kimono. Okay, so a kimono is a dress that is cut together with the sleeve. All right, so the half length that I'll be using for that jumpsuit, I told us already that it's 17.5. So I'll be adding 1 inch allowance for join at the base and join at the upper part, so making it 18.5 inches. So on that note, I will go ahead and mark my back, which is 7.5, 15. So I decided that I want the extension to just be like 4 inches extra, which will give me 11 inches. Okay, so at that point I'm just going to mark 2.5 inches for my neckline. I'll come down by 2 inches. That's my shoulder slant. So I'm going to cut like I did already. I've connected and slanted it down. So now this space is for the button allowance, 2.5 inches. When I fold it like this half, then this 1 inch will be for the button. Do you get it? So that is that for that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my waistline. The waistline I have is 8 inches. Okay, sorry, 7.5 inches. Like I said, I'll be giving allowance of 1 inch 1 inch dart allowance and then 1 inch sewing allowance, just like I did for the jumpsuit, the upper part. All right, so I just go ahead and connect it to this part. Did you see that? So I connected it to this part. Now I made the opening. Okay, the opening that I really want is 10.5 inches. Okay, so this 1 inch, 1.5. Okay, let me say the opening I want is 11 inches. All right, so if the opening is 11 inches, this 1 inch is to sew this together and sew the shoulder line together. That's why I have 1 inch here. So that's why I have the opening of 12 inches. You can see. So that's my opening. I just connect it straight down to my waistline. So that marks the end of the kimono dress. Now, after cutting out this part, I would now go ahead and come back to show us how to cut the shirt part of this kimono upper part. So for the front part of this dress now, I'll just be coming down by 3.5 inches. I don't want it to, or 3.2 inches. I don't want it to be too large for the front part. Okay, so like I said, I already slanted it by 2.5 inches. Okay, you can see. So I'll just go ahead and trace that like this. Nevertheless, this is my back, so I'll just come downwards by 1 inch for the back. Okay, so I'll come down 1 inch for the back. So I'll try and then I'll cut it. I'll come and show you what it looks like. So as you can see, this is the back part, and then this is the back part, and this is the front part of the dress. So you can see that we have completely done. We have done cutting this kimono part. So all I need to do is to slash this and open this armhole area like this. It's actually a very, very simple tutorial. It's a very simple tutorial. So that is it. So take note that this is the, now how do we note the lower part of the dress? It's very simple, so that we don't get confused. You can see that this is the armhole. You can decide to notch it on this end, okay, for the front part. All right, so you can see this is the neckline. It's very simple. So I'm going to show you how we are going to join it together. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to be doing is the front part. I'm going to be folding this by half an inch like this, and then 1 inch, you can see. So to make it much easier for you, you can decide to pin it down so that it will be easy for you to sew. Sorry guys, I'm going to be slashing this open. Like I said earlier, that we had zip allowance to the jumpsuit. So this 1 inch here, so I'm going to, there will be no dash allowance here. Rather, we have 1 inch for the zip allowance here. Then the 2.5 here will be for the button allowance. What's to cut right now is the pocket. Okay, I'm going to mark 13 inches. That's the depth of the pocket I'll be cutting. I'll be marking 13 inches. Okay, then I'll mark 6.5 inches. That's the pocket opening. Okay, pocket is very, very simple. So from this opening here, I'm going to mark half an inch. Please watch me closely. My chalk is blending to that. Can you see? So I've marked half an inch. So from there, I'll just kind of do a circular thing from this beginning opening here. So I'll go ahead and connect. Let me cut so that you see what I'm talking about. So then towards this side, okay, don't forget that this is my 6.5 inches opening on this side, you can see. So I'll go ahead and cut it like this. So this is what I have as my pocket. You can make it bigger, but I think this is just right enough for you to insert whatever you want, including your hand. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of this particular fabric. So we have 2 pockets now. So this is for the other first side, and this for the second side of the pocket. So we'll just attach it this way. I'm going to show you how to attach it from the pieces that I have done before. So like this is the front part. I already joined this front part, and then I close it up so that it will be neatly finished. So this is what I'm going to do on this right side like this. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'll just go ahead and then place this. Okay, right side facing each other. You can see this is what I'm going to be doing. So I'll just go ahead and lock it up here. Okay, so I'll do the same for the second side too. So when I'm done, I'll come and show you what it is. Alright, so this is the upper bodice. Like you see, I've finished it. I told us that I'm going to join the shoulder together. I've joined the shoulder. I've done this. I've hemmed this side. I've also hemmed the second side. You can see this is zipper. I'm sorry, this is the button allowance I was telling you about. I folded it in by half an inch, then to half an inch. You can see what I'm talking about. So this is the button allowance there. Then this is zipper allowance. Like I said, I'm going to join it with zip. Okay, then this is the side allowance. I've already joined that together. You can see. So it just remains for me to join this upper bodice to the lower bodice. Let me show you what I was saying when I was talking about the pocket. You can see I already attached the pocket on both sides. I put it together like this. You can see this is the back. Sorry, this is the front, this is the back. Okay, I joined it together as so. Then this way, you can see. So same with the other side too. Then I fix my dart in the front. I fix my dart in the back too. So this is zip allowance here, right here. You can see that while I'm joining this trouser. Okay, I joined it this way. You can see half an inch here, then 1 inch for the zip allowance. down here. You get what I'm trying to say? So what I'm going to do right now is to hem this lower part of the trouser. I told you that I gave it 2 inches, okay? Then I'm going to sew the crotch area, after which I'm going to join this upper part, okay, upper part of the kimono to the lower part of the trouser. You can see I only pinned it, I'm not done. This is zip allowance here, so I'm going to join both together and I'll come and show you what it looks like after I'm done. So you can see we are almost going to an end, coming to an end of this tutorial. Right here, I'm going to use my interlocking machine to just interlock this area and this area. That you can see I've joined the waistline together. I've joined the pocket already. The crotch line has been secured. The sides has been secured. You see that crotch area, I've joined it. I've hemmed the lower part. Okay, I've hemmed the lower part. I've also hemmed the lower part of the second leg too. You can see it's actually coming out so beautifully and I'm loving the outcome already. This is a button area, like I said, so I'm going to interlock all these areas to make it neat. So then this is the back. This is what the back looks like. So I'm going to put zip on this area. You can see I'm going to run a zip on this area and then that will be it. All right, so I'll come and show you the outlook when I'm going to come and show you how to cut a collar and fix it around this place. Okay, so we have started. We want to make the collar for this dress right now. So I decided to pin this neckline together. You can see this is the neckline. I decided to pin it together. So what we are going to do, I match the neckline together. You can see that there's zip at the back and then there's button in front. You can see this is the button allowance. So when I measured out 10 inches. So I measured out 10 inches. You can see. So in that case, remember that normally this dress would have had a collar neckline of around 8 inches, but because of the 1 inch for button allowance and 1 inch for zip allowance at the back, so we are left with the sum goes to 10 inches. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be marking, making a straight line. Like we want the collar to sit where, it depends on how you want the collar to look like. So after marking that, we are going to mark that exact 10 inches on this part. You mark exact 10 inches on that part. So basically when you measure, you try and measure from the front area, from the back area rather to this shoulder area. This is 4.2. You are going to mark your 4.2 on that side. After marking it, you come to the end of your 10 inches here. You go upwards by around 1.5 inches just to make the collar grip well on the neck. So then you just connect this 4.2 to this 1.5 your breast. When you do that, the line would have changed, so you remeasure your 10 inches and make sure that it's accurate. You can see the line has changed. So when you are done with that, you start marking your 1.2 inches. That's the height I want it to have. You can have below that, you can have more than that, but I want my collar stand. This is the collar stand. I'm going to be doing the collar stand and the collar itself together. So I want to have a height of 1.2 inches. So that is what I've just done here. Okay, you can decide to use your ruler to cut it. So in this case, remember that we have a zip allowance at the back and collar allowance at the front. So from the front here, we have 1 inch collar allowance. So I'm going to come in by 1 inch. Then I'm going to raise this. I want to have a collar stand of 3 inches here. So I'll make a straight line towards that side. Before I do, I want you to know that you can cuff this area like this. You can see I've cuffed this area. So I came up by 3 inches here like this. So on this back area, I want you to have height of 1.7, which is okay for me. So I'll just connect that together. Nevertheless, I told us that there's a zipper allowance here, so I want the zipper allowance to be removed. The zipper allowance is 1 inch, so I'm going to remove the 1 inch of the zipper allowance from here before I start my collar. Okay, and even after the 1 inch, I don't want it to be on the 1 inch exactly, so I'll take away 0.7 inches again from there. So when I do on this, I'm supposed to have this mark here, like this straight line. So instead of having a straight line, I'll just go ahead and do something like this, just to make it fall to the back. You understand? So this is my collar stand, and this is my collar. So I'm going to cut both out now, and then when I'm done, I'm going to show us how to join it together. I'm going to use iron to attach it to the fabric. It's that simple. So this is how it's going to look when I'm done. It's going to look this way. It will be sitting like this. It's curved, so when it's done, it will sit this way. You see, it will sit this way, and it will look very nice. This one will still come in like this. So we have something like this when we are done. The zipper for the jumpsuit, it's just going to be beautiful. There won't be stress wearing the jumpsuit. So when I'm done ironing the fabric to the stay, I'll come and show us how to fix this together. So like I said, we have ironed the collar stay to each of this part, and then we have cut a replicate of the lining for each of them. So you know that this collar is a detachable one because there's a zip at the back of the dress. You understand? Like I explained to us earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this area like this with the lining. After stitching, I'll come and show you how to assemble both together. So like I said, we are done turning this out. This is the collar's base. This is the collar stand rather. This is the collar itself. We have done that for the second side too. So we want to fix it to the dress. This is what we'll be doing where the collar is. Okay, I've already folded it in like I explained the other time. You can see I've folded it in. So all we'll do is this one that has no collar there, we'll put it to the back. Look at the back of this so you sew over it like that. You can pin it down this way, then go ahead and pin it down on the other side so that you be sure that it's secured. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So go ahead and pin it down on that side too. So that is it. After which we are going to sew it like this. I'll sew it down, come and show you what it looks like. So right now I've actually joined this part to the back side like I showed you. So all I need to do to finish it up is to insert this in like this, inwards this way. You can see, and then I will sew to the end. You can see. When I'm done, I'll come and show you what it looks like.